Hi everybody, this is Bogus Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Neca Universal Monsters TMNT Leonardo as the Hunchback figure. So before we take a look at Leonardo, let's take a look at all of the numerous accessories that he comes with. So first up, he comes with a set of open hands. Up next, he comes with a skull, and this looks really nice. It's really nicely detailed. It's got some really nice color variation there, a nice black wash over. It looks very nice. The skull is able to plug onto the inside of the shell because his shell does open up, and as you can see, this broke when I was trying to put it in. So yeah, that is unfortunate. So yeah, that really sucks. Up next, he comes with the brain in a jar, and this looks really nice. All the paint detail to the metal looks really good. It's got a little bit of brown paint over top of it, making it look rusted. You can actually take the top off of this, and the brain is attached, but if you want, you can remove it. So if you want him holding the brain, you can. And I think this looks really nice. It's really glossy. It's got some brown paint over top of it. That looks really cool. This is one accessory that does fit properly in his shell and doesn't feel like it's going to break. I did have the skull off once, and it seemed like a tight fit. So yeah, I should have known that this was going to break anytime. It still sucks though. Up next, he comes with a set of fisted hands. Up next, he comes with two hands with pointing fingers. Up next, he comes with accessory holding hands. Up next, he comes with a bone. And again, this looks really nice. Just like with the skull, it has some really good sculpt detail and some really nice paint detail to it. That looks really awesome. Up next, he comes with two different shovels. And again, these look really good. The ends of the shovels look really rusty and dirty. The wrappings to the handle looks very nice on both of these. These just look really nice. Up next, he comes with his katanas, and these are huge. These are actually pretty thick. These feel pretty sturdy. The normal movie Leonardo's katanas broke really easily, but these are really thick and don't feel like they're going to break. But there you can see the screws are sculpted really nicely. It's got some more of that rust color and some black over top of it. The wrappings to the handle look very nice, and it has these little maces on the end. And these are actually pretty sharp. And finally, he comes with two flame effects for the end of his swords, and these look really cool, but these are really heavy plastic, so it tends to weigh his hand down. If you have them up like this, they're just going to turn. If you straighten this out, it's eventually just going to fall over. So these do look cool, but they make them really top heavy. These blades are already thick and kind of heavy as is for the figure, but yeah, adding these just pushes it over the edge. So while they do look cool, I'll mainly leave him displayed like this. That way the flame effects won't weigh his hands down. He has storage inside his shell to store the swords, and I think that's really awesome. And once you have the swords in, you can hold some of his other accessories inside the shell, and I think that looks really awesome. So taking a look at this head sculpt, I think Neca did a really awesome job on this. This is a really cool head sculpt for Leonardo as the Hunchback. His eyebrows are sculpted really nicely. He also has a goatee. His warts are a different color. He has some really nice texturing to his skin. You can see some stitches and staples right there. He also has a wash over his skin, making him look really dirty. The bandana is articulated, so I thought that was pretty cool, but it only really goes up and down, so I'll probably just leave it like that. His belt has some incredible texturing to it. That leather texturing there, that sculpt detail looks really good. He also has some great texturing to his shirt. That looks really good. You can see the stitches on this one isn't painted that well. It could have been a little bit cleaner. He has a beetle there on his shirt, and I feel like it looks a little too cartoony because this figure is sculpted really nicely. It has a realistic sculpt to it, but this bug right here just looks really cartoony. Here you can see his elbow pads. They have a nice wash over them. He has his shackles here. They're done in silver and have some brown painted over top of them to look like rust. His shell is also sculpted very nicely. You can see these pieces of metal with the screws in them holding pieces of his shell together. You can see the hinge right here on this one and this lock. This doesn't function, it just looks really cool. It is a separate plastic piece though, so when you're posing the figure around, this will move a lot. All of his hands are sculpted and painted really nicely. He has the brown fingernails and a brown wash over top of his skin, making it look really dirty. He has some really nice texturing to his pants. You can see some more staples right there. His knee pads, two more beetles. The bottoms of his pants have a little bit of gray paint over top of them, making them look really worn. Again, his skin has some wash to it. And his left leg has this shackle with a chain. I think the chain is just plastic, so if you're not careful this could break easily, but it does look really good. It actually looks pretty realistic. So now let's go ahead and go over his articulation. He has a ball-jointed head that can look up that far. He can look down all the way. He can move his head side to side. He has ball-jointed shoulders that can move out that far. He has double-jointed elbows that only bend in that far. The elbow pads do hinder that a good bit, and you can barely move them side to side, up here and down here. So that is a bit unfortunate. He has a swiveled wrist that can move side to side and up and down. He has a ball-jointed waist that can move back very slightly. It can move side to side very slightly. He can just about do a complete split. He can only kick forward that far. Can't really kick back. If you listen to that, that is a very crunchy joint. He has a swivel at the thigh, double-jointed knee that can only bend back that far, ankles that can move down all the way, up just a little bit, an ankle rocker, and of course he has an articulated shell that can open and close. So now, let's do some size comparisons. So first up, here he is next to the movie Leonardo, and he is so much bigger than him. This is a huge figure compared to the normal Leo. And finally, there he is next to Frankenstein Raphael. So overall, I would highly recommend picking this up because it is a really, really awesome figure. It has a ton of accessories, and it has some really great sculpt and paint detail. The only thing it's lacking is some articulation. I really thought the articulation would be better, but it's really hindered, especially here on the elbow and knee pads. So despite the articulation being hindered, I would still recommend picking this up. So that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.